The title of my chapter is Why Is She So Fat? Now, I know that that's a question that might make you feel a little uncomfortable or cringe a little bit, but it seems to me that fat prejudice is the last acceptable prejudice. I think it's no longer acceptable to be prejudiced against people because of their race or gender or sexual orientation. But as soon as someone talks about somebody being overweight or fat, I think that people start to giggle and snicker, and I think that it's an acceptable prejudice. And I think that when people see me, that's one of the first questions that they ask. And I no longer wanted to have the question asked about me. I wanted to be part of the conversation about me. I didn't start out being overweight as a child. I was probably in senior high school, maybe about 15, 16, 10th grade, when I really started to put on weight. And I was diagnosed with a hormonal imbalance, and the weight started to creep up. I specifically remember one woman telling me, you really should do something about your weight before it's too late, because when it started time to start dating boys, none of them will want to pick you up in their two-seater with you weighing down one side of the car. And I can remember when I decided to let my hair grow out, and all of a sudden, as I blossomed, so to speak, things in my life, people started to treat me differently. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't just the frumpy, chubby girl, I was the pretty girl. I think by the time I became age maybe 26, 28, I had accomplished a whole lot in terms of my career and my lifestyle. And the only thing left was for me to find that Prince Charming, to find the significant other. So I had this thing of a pattern of guys just really using me to make them feel good about themselves. And I had no clue about how to get out of that pattern. And so my self esteem, that was already struggling, started to disintegrate even more. I can remember this guy had me on like a schedule as to when he could visit me and when he couldn't, and I would have 1 week on and 1 week off. We could get together this week, but the following week he needed time for himself, right? And it's so interesting because I look back at that and I was like, he was so playing me, right? He was so playing me. But I was desperate, and I remember having the conversation with my sister about us not spending that much time together. And she says, but he's not around 80% of the time. And I remember getting like really angry with her, like viscerally angry with her, and said, I'd rather be alone 80% of the time than 100% of the time. So after all these failed relationships, I decided to give up. I just gave up on it, gave up on finding true love. And I did what I know how to do best, which is to focus on my career and become a success. I had clients that were winning awards, and a lot of my clients was multiple 6 and 7 figure clients. And so that was what I focused on, and that was how I attempted to make myself happy. But at the end of the day, it really wasn't a fair thing to do to myself, because there was so much of me that just wasn't being fed. But more importantly, I was trying to feel good about me, and that's the only way that I knew how to do it. And one day I realized that it wasn't working, so I had to go a different route. I wrote a blog post called I Didn't Give Up on Black Men, They Gave Up on Me. And it came from a place of really feeling rejected by African American men specifically. Now I'm going viral. I'm not only trending on the Essence site, I'm now trending on the Root. And then a couple of days later, it got picked up by Madame Noir. And all of this visibility brought a lot of scrutiny. But it was the comments, I think, that really broke me down. You fat bitch, what do you know about relationships? They Googled pictures of me, right? And then they posted pictures so that they could talk about how fat I was and how disgusting I was, and the fact that when I look at you, you know why men don't want to be with you. When I look at you, I can't even stand. Stand to look at you myself, and you're in denial like every other fat person I ever met. And it went on. This went on for days. I am by all definitions morbidly obese. Now, Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm on a fitness journey. I have all these things that I'm trying to accomplish when it comes to taking better care of myself. But I haven't yet. And so I'm not there yet. I haven't arrived yet, but I still have to be okay with where I am. I still have to look in the mirror and accept this person looking back at me. I still have to know that this person on the other side is good enough. She's enough. She's enough of a person. She's good enough to be loved. She's good enough to be in love with. She's good enough to be successful. She's good enough to be on Essence Magazine. She's good enough to be on the Bishop T.D. Jakes show. And I think the cherry on this beautiful Sunday of success that I was given was the following October. Essence featured my story in a full page. So now I've gone from Essence.com to Essence Magazine, and I'm in the pages of Essence Magazine, and I got a full page spread, and Viola Davis was on the cover, and it was the beauty edition. It doesn't get any better than that.